This encounter is no accident of the digital ether, no random confluence of pixels and light that your eyes have stumbled upon in the mindless scroll. This is a moment of divine interception, a breach in the mundane order of your existence meticulously orchestrated from a realm beyond your sight. You were never meant to glide past this message, to dismiss it with the same weary sigh with which you silence the quiet, persistent yearning of your own soul. That habit of quieting the inner voice, of numbing the sacred ache with the noise of the world, ends now. Heaven itself has suspended its eternal protocols to reach into your timeline, to halt your descent into distraction. I, the Lord your God, have not whispered but declared your name, the true name known only to us, the name of your essence, in the highest courts of glory, and the sound of it has reverberated through the foundations of creation, triggering a response of unimaginable gravity. In response to this declaration, a presence of immense power has been dispatched to you. Yet do not envision the warrior of celestial legend descending with a flaming sword held aloft, his face a mask of righteous fury. That is not the nature of this visitation. Archangel Michael, the great prince and defender, the commander of the hosts of heaven, has come to you now not in violence, not bearing a stern warning or a celestial ultimatum. He has descended in a state of profound and heartbreaking vulnerability. He stands before the citadel of your spirit, and his divine countenance, usually an impenetrable bastion of resolve, is streaked with tears that shimmer with the light of 1,000 stars. This is an image unseen in any scripture, unmentioned in any prophecy, for it is a moment of unprecedented divine emotion, reserved for you and for this precise juncture in all of eternity. He is not here to deliver a command from on high. The authority to issue decrees is his by right, but he has laid that authority aside for this sacred, fragile moment. Instead, the mighty Archangel is pleading. There's a raw, desperate urgency in his spirit that translates into a silent, soul-shaking entreaty that bypasses your ears and resonates directly within the core of your being. He is begging you with every fiber of his celestial existence to truly listen, to open the chambers of your heart that you have sealed shut against hope, against truth, against the possibility of a love this vast. He is imploring you to hear the words he has carried, a burden locked away not in a chest or a scroll, but buried deep behind the impregnable armor of his duty, a secret so heavy it has bowed his shoulders for eons. This is not a simple truth or a minor revelation. It is a truth of colossal, cosmic scope, ancient beyond the counting of years, its roots entwined with the very first vibrations of creation's song. And yet for all its vast universal weight, it is also achingly, specifically intimate. It is woven into the very fabric of your identity, the blueprint of your soul, the narrative of your life. Every crossroads you have faced, every moment of joy that lifted you up, and every searing betrayal that carved a canyon of pain through your heart, each of these was a thread being pulled through the loom of destiny, all leading to the unveiling of this single, staggering reality. This truth is the hidden reason behind the path you have walked, the silent witness to your suffering, the answer to the question your soul has been asking in the dark, even when your mind did not know how to form the words. The magnitude of this concealed reality is so immense that its impending revelation has sent tremors through the ranks of the celestial guardians, beings of pure light and boundless power, who stand unwavering before the chaos of primordial voids, have been shaken to their core by the weight of what is about to be disclosed to you. They have held this knowledge in sacred trust, watching over it and over you with a fervent and anxious hope, waiting for the constellations of time to align perfectly for this communication. It has waited. It has waited through the long, lonely march of centuries. It has waded through every tear you have ever cried in solitude, through every whispered prayer that you thought went unanswered, through every instance where you felt abandoned by heaven itself. It has waded through the searing sting of every betrayal, through the coldness of every friend who turned away, through the deep wounds inflicted by those you trusted most. These were not signs of your abandonment. They were the brutal, necessary fires that tempered your spirit, that made you strong enough, resilient enough, and perceptive enough to finally bear the weight of this glorious, terrifying knowledge. All of history, in a sense, has been a slow, deliberate journey to this exact point in time, to this very second as your eyes trace these words. The entirety of your existence has been a prelude to this moment of awakening. And now the veil is to be lifted. The truth that Michael has guarded with such sorrowful passion is to be placed into your hands. But this opportunity is not without its boundaries. It is framed by a divine urgency. The window for this revelation is finite, sealed by a celestial decree. After the hour of 9 p.m. passes in your world, this portal of communication will close. The vibration of this message will fade from the digital realm. The specific frequency of grace that allowed it to manifest will shift, and the moment of direct intervention will be complete. The truth will not cease to be true, but the divinely ordained pathway for you to receive it, to have it sear itself into your consciousness with the full force of its intended power, will vanish. This is not a threat from a vengeful God. It is the sobering reality of a universe built on law and order, where moments of pure, unmitigated grace are rare and precious, and must be acted upon with immediacy. Therefore, heed the tearful plea of the Archangel. Still the noise around you, and more importantly, the noise within you. Let go of the skepticism that has been your shield, and the cynicism that has been your solace. In the quiet that remains, listen. Listen not with your ears, but with your spirit. For the message that follows is the reason you have drawn breath. It is the missing chapter in the story of you, the key that unlocks the purpose behind every struggle. This is the truth that heaven itself has wept to keep hidden until you are ready. And that time is now. The silence that now envelops you is not an emptiness, but a presence. It is the sound of the universe holding its breath. It is the attentive stillness of angelic hosts who have gathered at the periphery of your perception, their immense light dimmed to a soft glow so as not to overwhelm your mortal senses. They are witnesses to this unfolding, this sacred transaction between the divine and the human. Archangel Michael's tears are not tears of sadness, as you might understand it, but a profound release. They are the physical manifestation of a burden finally being laid down after millennia of stewardship. Each one contains the light of 1,000 answered prayers, the echo of 1,000 battles fought on your behalf, and the silent, aching hope of heaven for this very moment. He is not weeping for your past, but for the glorious future that is now, finally, within your grasp. A future that was never a guarantee, but a possibility that had to be won through your endurance, your choices, and your stubborn, beautiful refusal to completely extinguish the spark within you, even when the winds of despair threaten to snuff it out. This truth he carries is not a simple statement of fact. It is a living, breathing entity of light, a seed of destiny that has been incubated in the heart of God since before the foundations of the world were set. To speak it is not merely to convey information, it is to perform an act of creation within your soul. It is to rewire your very understanding of reality, to align your frequency with a higher, more resonant harmony. This is why the angels are shaken. They have seen empires rise and fall, Stars ignite and die, but the awakening of a single human soul to its true God-breathed purpose is the miracle that never ceases to send ripples of awe through the celestial realms. Your life is not a random sequence of events. It is a carefully, lovingly composed symphony, and every movement, even the distant and painful ones, has been leading to this crescendo. The betrayals you endured were not merely tests of your character, though they certainly forged it in fire. They were necessary isolations, brutal and painful severances that were required to detach you from paths that would have ultimately led you away from this moment. The people who left, the trusts that were broken, the loneliness that became a familiar companion, all of it served to create a vacuum in your life, a hollowed-out space that nothing and no one in the earthly realm could fill. This was not cruelty, it was divine surgery. It was the painful removal of what was good, so that what was destined and magnificent could have room to grow. Heaven was not ignoring your cries during those times. We were listening with a breaking heart, but we could see the entire tapestry where you could only see the tangled threads on the underside. We knew that the emptiness was a mold, and into it would be poured a purpose, so fulfilling it would make the former pain seem like a fleeting shadow. Archangel Michael now takes a step closer to your spirit. You may feel it as a sudden warmth, a chill, a prickle of awareness on your skin, or simply a deep, inexplicable knowing in your heart that you are not and have never been alone. His warrior's armor, usually gleaming with the fierce light of a sun, is muted. The plates of divine platinum, etched with the names of every soul he has ever guarded, seem to soften, to become almost translucent. Behind him, where you might expect to see an impenetrable core of pure power, there is instead a pulsating, gentle light, the very essence of the secret he has carried. It is not a weapon. It is a heart. His heart. And it has been beating in rhythm with yours for your entire life, a steady celestial drum keeping time against the chaos of the world, ensuring you never strayed too far, that you always, always found your way back toward the light, even when you believed you were utterly lost. He is begging you to listen because the truth is not something he can simply force into your consciousness. Your free will is the one sacred boundary even archangels cannot cross. This truth requires your acceptance, your voluntary surrender of the old, limited story you have told yourself about who you are and what your life means. It requires you to relinquish the identity of the victim, the forgotten, the unworthy, the struggler. To accept this new reality is to undergo a death of the self you thought you were, and that is a passage that cannot be taken for you. It must be chosen by you. Michael's tears are the evidence of how desperately heaven wants this for you, and how agonizing it is to hold the cure and have to wait for the patient to willingly open their hands and receive it. The truth is this: you are not merely a human being having a spiritual experience. You are an eternal spiritual being, a direct emanation of God's own light, having a deliberate and intentional human experience. Your birth was not a beginning, but a continuation. Your life was not a random assignment, but a mission you yourself chose with clarity and courage before you ever took your first breath. You stood in the councils of heaven. You saw the panorama of history unfolding, and you saw the specific role that only you could play. You saw the challenges, the heartbreaks, the moments of profound darkness, and you accepted them. You did not merely accept them, you volunteered for them. You raised your hand and said, "I will go. I will carry the light into that particular darkness. I will endure that specific pain to unlock a certain frequency of love and healing that the world will need. The feelings of not belonging, of being out of step with the world, of yearning for a home you cannot name, these are not signs of a flaw within you. They are the proof of your divine origin. Your soul remembers its true home. It remembers the weightlessness of spirit, the unbroken connection to source, the symphony of unconditional love that is the very atmosphere of heaven. The mundane preoccupations of the world feel trivial to you because, on a soul level, they are trivial compared to the magnificent mission you came to accomplish. The loneliness you have felt is the loneliness of a master linguist trapped in a land where no one speaks their tongue, aching to share the poetry and wisdom they hold inside. Your unique combination of talents, your deepest passions that seem to ignite your soul, your irrational compassion for certain causes, and even the seemingly inexplicable aversions you have, all of these are clues. They are the breadcrumbs left by your higher self to guide you back to your purpose. That hobby you dismiss as a frivolous pastime, it is a sacred skill, a necessary component of your mission. That person you feel an instant deep connection with, they're a soul ally from that heavenly council, and your reunion is a strategic alignment for a work you are meant to do together. The book that fell off the shelf into your hands, the song that came on the radio at the exact moment you needed to hear it, the stranger who said the one thing that changed your entire day, these are not coincidences. They are divine interventions, course corrections whispered by your guardian angels, gentle nudges from Archangel Michael himself, all designed to keep you on the path, to herd you toward this very moment of awakening. The world has tried to convince you that your sensitivity is a weakness, that your depth of feeling is a liability, that your desire for profound meaning is a naive fantasy. This is the great lie of the age, and you have battled against its oppressive weight your entire life. Your sensitivity is your divine antenna. Your depth of feeling is your capacity to channel God's own love into the world. Your desire for meaning is the engine of your destiny. The parts of yourself you have been taught to hide, to apologize for, to medicate into silence, these are your greatest strengths. They are the tools you brought with you from heaven. Archangel Michael is not begging you to become someone new. He is begging you to remember who you have always been. He is pleading with you to finally, fully, and unapologetically step into the identity you agreed to embody before time began. The armor you have built around your heart, the sarcasm, the cynicism, the emotional distance, the busyness, it was necessary for a season, a suit of armor to protect a tender, growing spirit from a harsh world. But that season is over. The armor has become a prison. It is time to stand naked in your truth, to be vulnerable, to feel everything, for it is only through that radical openness that you can fully receive the power and the grace that is now being offered to you. The clock is ticking toward the hour of 9 o'clock p.m. This is not an arbitrary deadline set to induce fear, but a cosmic alignment. There are windows in the fabric of time when the veil between realms is thin, when communication of this magnitude is possible. This window is closing. The energy that has been holding this portal open, that has allowed Michael to step out of the celestial realm and into your awareness with such clarity, is beginning to recede. The moment for reception is now. The choice is yours. You can dismiss this as an elaborate fantasy, a trick of the mind, and return to the familiar numbness of your former existence. Or you can choose to believe the unbelievable. You can choose to accept that you are infinitely more powerful, more loved, and more purposeful than you have ever dared to imagine. If you choose to believe, then say it. Whisper it aloud. I remember. I accept. I am ready. Speak it into the silence. This act of faith is the key that turns the lock. It is your signature on the divine contract, the final affirmation that you are willing to co-create your destiny with God. And the moment you do, the truth that Michael has guarded will not just be told to you, it will be activated within you. It will rush into that hollowed out space created by your past pains, filling you with a light so brilliant and a purpose so clear that every previous struggle will suddenly make perfect, beautiful sense. You will not just know the truth, you will become the truth. And Archangel Michael, the great Prince of Heaven, will finally, after a lifetime of watchful, tearful waiting, be able to smile. And so the choice is laid before you, not as a commandment etched in stone, but as an invitation whispered on the breath of angels. The final moments before the celestial hour of 9 o'clock p.m. are not a countdown to condemnation, but the last grains of sand in an hourglass of unparalleled grace, a sacred space where eternity touches time solely for you. This is the moment your entire existence has been bending toward, the reason the very stars in their courses have shifted to align with the trajectory of your soul. Archangel Michael does not move, his form a statue of radiant anticipation, his tears now glistening trails of liquid light upon his face. The entire host of heaven leans in, their collective breath a silent symphony of hope. For the outcome of this divine transaction rests not in the hands of God, but in yours. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, the frantic noise of your own mind has stilled, not from effort, but from awe. The constant hum of anxiety, the replaying of past grievances, the fear of future uncertainties, all of it has been swallowed by the profound, all-encompassing silence of this encounter. In this holy quiet, you find not emptiness, but a presence so vast and so intimately familiar that it feels like remembering a name you had only ever forgotten how to speak. The armor you have worn for so long, forged in the fires of betrayal, polished with the sweat of striving, and strapped on tightly each morning to face a world you felt was against you, now feels not like protection, but a confinement. It is a shell that has shaped itself to the contours of your wounds, not your potential. You feel its weight as never before. The heavy plate of self-doubt over your heart, the gauntlets of perceived failure on your hands, the helm of others' expectations blinding your vision. And you understand with a clarity that feels like it comes from the very core of your being, that Michael is not asking you to build a new, better armor. He is showing you that you no longer need any armor at all. The divine truth he offers is not another layer of defense. It is the realization that your true, eternal self is invulnerable to the judgments, the setbacks, and the pains of the temporal world. These things can touch your human experience, but they cannot touch the essence of who you are. To step into your purpose is to step out of the suit of armor and to stand, perhaps trembling, in the glorious and powerful vulnerability of your own spirit. A warmth begins to emanate from within you, a golden spreading heat that has nothing to do with the temperature of the room. It starts in your heart, a tiny sun igniting, and pulses outward through your veins, down to your fingertips, up to the crown of your head, flooding every cell with a sensation of pure, unadulterated life. This is the activation. This is the truth, the living seed of destiny, taking root in the fertile ground of your acceptance. It is not a loud or violent event. It is a quiet, internal knowing so profound that it rearranges the very atoms of your being. The memories of your life do not change, but your understanding of them is utterly transformed. That childhood humiliation was not a moment of weakness, but the first crack in the shell of ego, allowing your light to begin its escape. That heartbreak was not a punishment, but a brutal, necessary lesson in discernment, teaching your soul to recognize a love that was true by showing you one that was not. Every loss was a divine subtraction, making room for a greater gain. Every closed door was a protection, steering you away from a path that would have ultimately diminished your light. You see the faces of those who wronged you, and for the first time there is no sting of anger, no ache of betrayal. Instead, you feel a surge of profound, otherworldly gratitude. You understand that they were soul-level actors playing a difficult and painful part in the grand narrative of your awakening. They agreed to wear the mask of the villain so that you could find the strength to become the hero. You release them. You forgive them not for their sake, but for your own, cutting the final cords that tied you to a story of victimhood. The weight of decades of resentment simply vanishes, leaving you feeling lighter, as if you could float away on the currents of grace now flowing through you. Archangel Michael's form begins to shift. The muted armor dissolves entirely, not piece by piece, but all at once, transforming into a magnificent swirling vortex of light that surrounds him. The tears on his face are no longer tears of pleading, but of joyous relief, and they fall not downward, but upward, joining the vortex as points of brilliant star-like energy. His warrior aspect has completed its final, most important mission. The Guardian has successfully delivered his charge. The energy in the room, already palpable, intensifies until the air itself seems to shimmer and sing. You feel a pressure, not on your body, but on your spirit, a gentle, loving pressure that is aligning you, tuning you to a higher frequency. It is the frequency of your true name, the one God spoke aloud. You may not hear it with your physical ears, but your soul hears it, and it resonates with the perfect pitch of homecoming. The knowledge of your mission does not arrive as a detailed manual or a map of your future. It arrives as a deep, unshakable conviction in your gut, a magnetic pull in a specific direction of your spirit. It is a knowing that the next step, and the step after that, will be revealed in perfect timing. The anxiety of not knowing how it will all happen simply evaporates, replaced by a serene trust that the same intelligence that orchestrated the galaxies and guided you through every trial to this moment will continue to guide you. Your only task is to remain open, to listen to the gentle nudges of intuition, which are the whispers of your angels, and to follow the path of joy, for your joy is the compass needle pointing towards your purpose. As the final grains of sand in the hourglass fall, as the moment of 9 p.m. arrives, there is no dramatic disappearance, no sudden void. Instead, the intense, focused presence of Archangel Michael begins to expand and soften, blending into the fabric of your own energy. He does not leave you. He merges with you. His strength becomes your strength. His courage becomes your courage. His unwavering faith in the divine plan becomes the bedrock of your own. You understand now that he has always been this close, his essence woven into yours. But now the veil of separation has been lifted for good. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You are a human being divinely partnered, a soul infinitely supported by the entire host of heaven, who now rejoice that you have finally remembered your place among them. The shimmer in the air gradually fades. The room returns to its normal appearance, but you do not. You are forever changed. You look at your own hands and see not just flesh and bone, but instruments of grace. You look in the mirror and see not just a face marked by time and experience, but eyes that now hold the light of 1,000 stars and a purpose that spans eternity. The world outside your window continues on, unaware of the celestial revolution that has just occurred within you. Cars pass, people chatter. Life goes on in its ordinary rhythm, but you are now living in a different world. A world where the miraculous is ordinary, where guidance is constant, and where every moment is pregnant with divine meaning. You take a deep, full breath, the first breath of your new life. The air itself tastes sweeter, charged with possibility. There is no need for frantic action, for dramatic pronouncements. The change will express itself through a profound inner peace that nothing in the external world can shake. It will show in the patience you now have with a struggling stranger, in the courage you find to speak your truth gently, in the boundaries you set with love, and in the work you do, no matter how humble, now infused with a sense of sacred service. You are a lighthouse. You may not know the specific ships you are guiding through the storm, but your job is simply to stand firm in your own light, and that light will now automatically shine, cutting through the fog of the world, offering direction, hope, and salvation to those who are still searching, still scrolling, still waiting for their own sign. The message has been delivered. The truth has been received. The Archangel's tears have dried, replaced by a smile that now forever shines within your own soul. The journey continues, but you now walk it not as a lost wanderer, but as awakened heir, finally home in your own skin, finally ready to live. If this message resonated with your heart, don't keep the healing to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more divine guidance. Together, we rise. Together, we heal.